On the docket tonight, the case of Cristhian Rivera, the man convicted of murdering Mollie Tibbetts. It was a trial you saw right here on Court TV. Well, he is scheduled to be sentenced on Monday. Here's a preview of that sentencing.
At this time, Mr. Bahena, I'm going to ask that you rise along with your attorneys, please. And I would ask that the court attendant read the jury's verdict.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Cristhian Bahena Rivera, guilty of the crime of murder in the first degree.
After a 2-week trial, an Iowa jury found Cristhian Bahena Rivera guilty of murder in the stabbing death of University of Iowa student Mollie Tibbetts.
Juror number 1, for the record, is this your true and accurate verdict?
Yes.
Each of the jurors confirmed their verdict, but Bahena Rivera says he is innocent and claims he was ambushed by 2 masked men.
The bigger one, I could see that he had a gun, and the smaller one, I could see that he had a knife.
He testified the men were masked and after seeing Tibbetts jogging, abducted her and put her in his trunk.
I decided to take the body out.
Why didn't you call the police, sir?
Because I was scared.
He admitted hiding her body in the cornfield, but denied killing her.
The defendant, through his attorneys, filed 2 motions. One was a motion for new trial. The other was a motion in arrest of judgment.
After the trial, a new twist. Bahena Rivera's lawyers moved for a do-over based on evidence that Mollie Tibbetts' kidnapping was linked to a sex trafficking ring.
This woman that alleged to have been in this trap house, also involving a 50-year-old man, James Lowe, she was abducted in May of 2018, so just 2 months prior to the Mollie Tibbetts investigation.
But prosecutors say the defense had its chance to use the information.
They've got buyer's remorse when it comes to this information. We offered to stop the trial, to go to you and ask to stop the trial, to pursue the information that Mr. Mackey was providing to us. They declined. I left it 100% up to them.
With the verdict hanging in the balance, the judge heard testimony from this man, Arnie Mackey, who testified another inmate, Gavin Jones, confessed to him he killed Tibbetts.
He says, you know the guy that's being charged for it right now? I said, no, I don't. He's like, reset him up. He's like, it was a sex trafficking case gone wrong, and I stabbed her to death.
The judge denied the motion, finding that the alleged confession of Gavin Jones would not have changed the result of the trial, and noted that Jones' version of what happened as told to Mackey was inconsistent with the defendant's own testimony.
How did the jurors sort of deal with that?
In an interview with Court TV, juror Robert Bill Reed said jurors considered the possibility of an alternate suspect.
When we were in deliberation, it was brought up a couple times because it was a very tough decision for all of us. You know, what if there is new evidence that comes out? What if it wasn't him, et cetera, et cetera? And we had to kind of remind ourselves that we had to work with what we were given, and what we were given to us proved that without an unreasonable doubt.
The family of Mollie Tibbetts will have a chance to address the judge before he imposes sentence. Under Iowa law, there is only one option: life in prison without the possibility of parole.
And that's a big line at the end from Chanley Painter, right? There's no discretion here. They got rid of the death penalty in 1965, so that's off the table. It's life without parole. That's the option, as opposed to people who assassinate, presidential candidates. They get parole. Unbelievable. Sorry. Let's bring back in the think tank. Ian Friedman, what should we expect? What is the defense going to do at this sentencing hearing? Are they going to jump up and down and proclaim innocence and proclaim injustice and there was a sex ring, or are they just going to be quiet, you think?
Well, they're going to have to preserve the record, by objecting, and they're going to have to, the sentence is what the sentence is, right? So this case is going to be about post-conviction. Other lawyers after this are going to have to say that the judge should have, their argument's going to be that the judge should have granted a new trial based upon the evidence in the case. So there's really not a lot they can do at this point. This is going to be fought in rounds, 2 and on.
Yeah, Brian Watkins, I didn't find it very persuasive because all of this new evidence is inconsistent with the testimony, the second story of the defendant. It's inconsistent with his second story and his first story as to what actually happened here. What do you think happens on Monday? Do you think Cristhian Rivera makes any statement?
No, his lawyers are going to tell him to be quiet because he doesn't want to, say anything that's going to come back and haunt him if he is granted another trial. But what's telling about this is that jail snitches, people in jail, convicts who want to come and testify that my cellmate confessed to me and all that type of stuff, usually happens when they get a deal from a prosecution on their case. And clearly this is the defense attorneys coming at this guy who's in jail, and they can't offer him anything. They can't provide him anything. They can't lessen his sentence. They can't promise anything. So why is this guy in jail being a snitch, coming out, testifying on camera, which is something that you don't do when you're in prison? Why is he doing that if it's not true? I mean, why is he doing that? He's not getting any deal. He's not getting any benefit. He's not getting any bargain from the prosecution on this case. So that is something that, I don't know, that needs to be explored.
Yeah, I guess, and the defense will have time to explore it. Life without parole, they've got a long time. Bernarda Villalona, let me ask you about Monday and the voice of the victims, where we'll finally get to hear from the family of Mollie Tibbetts.
Exactly, Vinny. So, at the time of sentencing, this is probably the only time, the majority of times, that the victim's family is allowed to address the judge. They're allowed to express their feelings. They are allowed to express how they've been affected by the tragic death of Mollie Tibbetts. And this is the first time also that probably family members may say some things about this defendant. And, sometimes it's not pretty, but it's them expressing their emotions of how they've been affected. And this is a really important time for the victims because they've been waiting so long to be able to speak. And this is going to be their time on Monday.